I'm from Eyachts here in Australia, and right behind me here is the Axopar 37 Revolution. Now, this is the first 37 to hit down under here. It's also the 100th Axopar to land here in Australia. So we're really excited not only to receive the first Revolution, but to have our Century just standing behind me. I want to take you for a bit of a walkthrough. We don't often get to see these Axopars out of the water, so I want to show you what makes these boats unique, what makes them efficient and effective, and essentially, in my opinion, which I know is biased, is the best handling boat in the world. Alright, look, I'll take you for a walk through this hull. The main DNA of Axopar hasn't really changed with the new Revolution series. It's just evolved, got better and more efficient. Starting here, we've got two very distinctive double-step chines. Now, these chines add so much uniqueness to this boat. What they've done with this new step here, you can see they've really brought the arch of it forward. They're almost a straight line straight out in the Mark 1 series. So the whole principle of these steps is to introduce air underneath the hull. It's going to give it a lot of lift, it's going to give it a lot of fuel efficiency, and add to even things like stability. The stability that it does to these boats is quite unique and amazing, and it really makes the Axopar find its natural groove going through the water. You're not fighting anything. It really is a pleasure to drive the Axopar. The other uniqueness to the Axopar boat is this very, very fine entry point. Now that literally just cuts any sort of sea, ocean waves, just cuts straight through it. You know, if it's a little bit choppier, trim the bow down and it'll cut the waves even better. The bow thruster, it is part of the mould now. You used to have a section here for an insert. They've added a little bit of deflection to the bow thruster, so obviously it will make it cut through the water and be a bit more efficient. We added a bump strip down here. Like, what a practical place to put it. Coming into low docks, obviously you got your main rub rail now, but you've got one down here. Gives full protection to your swim platform. I'm sure there's been many people who have bumped their platform over the years, so nice to see that it has evolved and done this. Right, we chose the 350 Verado, Mercury's 350 in the L6 line. Now, with this new Axopar, the manufacturers and designers have managed to make this even more efficient than its previous model. Now, what they've done to gain up to 30% more fuel efficient cruising, that's right, 30%, you need to take the V8 model. Now, we chose this. We've had massive success with the L6. We love the quietness of it. We also have done the V8s and think incredibly highly of them. But to gain that 30%, that's a cruising speed. And the other quite fascinating thing with this new hull design is the cruising speed used to be at around that 25, 28 knots. Now they've managed to raise it to that 30 to 32 knots. So they've risen the cruising speed as well as being more fuel efficient. Now, if you're cruising at 40 knots, obviously you're outside that perfect cruising fuel curve, but you're still going through less fuel. Come up on board and I'll take you for a walk through on deck. Oh guys, welcome aboard the Axopar 37. As you see back here, we've got quite a nice cockpit back here. It was 380 changes they made from the previous model, so some are quite big, some are behind the scenes you would never know, but there was massive improvements from the previous model, which was already an outstanding model. So we're not going to take anything away from that, because essentially that's where this has evolved to. We're just going to go through and point out more of what has changed with this model. The wet bar has quite a sleeker appearance. You've got the new handhold here, the railing with Axopar embroidered into it. If you lift up the wet bar, you straight away come into same setup. You've got a sink, you've got a refrigerator that doubles as an esky, and on here you have a cooktop. Underneath we still have our storage lockers. An option that I absolutely love is this third row of seating. Now, whether you're on the Axopar 28 or the 37. This option is available on both boats. As you see, it's quite simple, just a fold down seat, but they have followed the same lines with the rest of the seating with the moulding of this seat. It is a nice, simple slide in, slide out system, so if you don't want them, you can just store them down under the deck here, but it really gives you a lot more functionality of this rear space. You've got a lot of protection if you're fishing here or you've got young ones. They've made a moulded fender locker here. Quite nice, very simple, but it works. Just blends into the rest of the boat, which was what I like. It has to be uniform. As you'll also see up top, they have changed the mast. The mast is now a simpler mast, but it has a pivot point on the mast, which I think is very smart. There's a lot of low bridges, especially here in Queensland's Gold Coast, and it just provides that extra couple of feet to get under bridges should you need it. A couple more small things. Obviously you see the storage here into these lockers. Got nice drainage in there, much simpler handle. Nice gutters too to run away with a drain behind there, so less chance of water getting into these dry lockers. Real nice improvement. You'll even actually see down here along the deck, there used to be a raised up section as you would step down into the cockpit. Now it's all flush. A lot less trip hazards, a lot more functionality of this boat. You'll see they did change the fridges around. They used to be on the back sections here. Much easier to gain access to. All you want to do is grab a drink while you're underway. Do it. And I love these Dometic fridges. They get everything freezing so quick. I cannot speak more highly of these little fridges. A very nice improvement is this additional storage that they've done under this rear seating. So if we rock this double seat back, now you'll see we've got this massive area, whether you want to put in life jackets, safety equipment, whatever, extra beer and wine, there's plenty of room. And even that hatch there, you remove that hatch and then you're going straight in under the floor there. Even for the people who sit on this back seat here, normally the outer guys, they've got a an armrest to hold on to. Guys in the center, if you've got a bit of an overzealous captain, people in the center can still feel safe, which is quite nice. This one with the Brabus line, we've got a nicely painted, nice clear coat of white table. Comes out, obviously the people who are sitting up front, those seats can spin around. So right now we're sitting at a table for 7 people on a 37-foot boat, which is quite cool. What Axopar have done, they've raised up their bulwarks up 8 centimetres. So right now the handrails are at my hip level, nice and safe. Also, if you're walking around the boat, the sun top's now been integrated in with a lip all the way around. Works as a handhold, but also works as a gutter for any water collecting on the roof. Nice, simple, practical. Roof racks. We've been doing them here in Australia for quite some time as an aftermarket option, but it is really nice to see this as a factory fitted option, ready to go. Once again, they're being the Brabus line boat, it's all in black, very smart, many securing points. You'll also see Axopar has moved some of their speakers. Only a small little change, but they've put 4 of the speakers into the suntop. I think really nicely positioning to disperse the sound throughout the boat. You still have speakers scattered around on the bow, on the stern, 4 up in the roof here, and then down here you've got a centrally placed subwoofer. So utilising the box that the seat sits on as a sound box for the bass. So this, I can't wait to get this boat out with some speed, crank the tunes up, and rock out on an Axopar. Axopar have gone from Garmin, now we're using Simrad. You'll see they've done a glass helm display, really nice twin 12-inch displays. We're utilising one for engine monitoring, boat monitoring. So instead of having your Mercury screen down here, it's all as a head-up display. Really nice, very flush, very sexy looking. Brabus insignia on the steering wheel, Brabus insignia on the seats. It really, they haven't done a huge change here, but The glass helm is definitely a standout feature and a very, very sexy looking helm. Being a Brabus, you'll see everything's all black. So all the supports for the sun top, all black, all the handrails, all black. Very, very cool. What they have done with this new hardtop is they brought in a lot more handholds, which I think is a huge improvement and very nice. Up here, whether you're at the helm, this area here, once you're in the cockpit, you know, just to stand here and hold this while you're at anchor. Biggest changes to the Axopar 37 Revolution line is the gull-wing doors. It is an option, but it is a very, very cool option and something, if you want to be the sexiest boat out on the water, what's more sexy than looking like a McLaren? Gull-wing doors, both port and starboard. How's that? Direct access into the cabin, whether you're going to the head, toilet, or into the main cabin. That is a sexy bit of kit. Brings airflow in. If you want to have a midday lounge and it's warm, open these up, bring the wind straight inside, and Bob's your uncle. We used to have a sun lounge here. They have changed it to more of a seating area, which is quite nice actually. I was a bit on the fence when I first heard about this change, but I do quite like it. You're sitting along here, I feel you've got a bit more comfort if you were to sit here while cruising. You can opt to have an extension of this lounge to bring your feet up, but you can't have the table option here if you have the extension of this lounge. We did opt to take the table, which is quite nice. Another little area for your sunset drinks, whatever you want to have up here, nibblies, brunch, even an early morning breakfast. So notice while setting up these cushions now that Axopar have decided to go with a fast mount system for their cushions. I think a very nice improvement. Very small thing, but once these cushions are all locked in, it doesn't matter if you're going 50 knots off a wave, these cushions aren't going anywhere. So another really nice refreshing change is the anchor locker up here. Come with me in here, you'll see they really have changed this whole area quite significantly. The Maxwell anchor, Windlass, is mounted up front here on a fully moulded in platform. They have used a divider to divide the chain, the rope, from the remainder of the anchor locker, which has given us a big storage area for wet things like fenders, lines, whatever. Throw your kids in here when they're wet, but they really have provided a functional, usable area up here. If you get any mud or anything caught in your chain, it can all still be easily hosed, easily drained out. Your water fill is now up here too, which is quite nice. Your up and down function from your windlass can be done here or also via a remote. So whether you want to be at the helm using the remote or up here lifting and dropping the anchor, it's quite simple. Obviously now you'll see here with the shore power connection is coming out of the anchor locker. So we've really eliminated this whole bow area that used to have outlets for power. We had a storage locker under here which gave access to a lot of electronics. It's all quite now flush and seamless, which is nice. I love my aesthetics, so this is very aesthetically pleasing. Now down in the main cabin, you'll see ultimately we've got the same size bed, similar headroom, but now we have this really awesome access outside through these gull-wing doors. Very, very cool. Got two little seats either side, port and starboard. Still got the water tank. We've still got some plumbing, batteries and things, bow thrusters obviously all under the forward bed. Still quite easily accessible. One other massive change is in here. So we now have a fully enclosed toilet, which can also have a shower next to it. You don't have to take these dividers. We opted to on this boat just because it is obviously the first of the Revolution series here, and we think they're quite cool. So you see this door doubles as a door to the main cabin, but also to the toilet. So I've got the same Jabsco quiet flush toilets. Got a little sink on the aft section here. Our control panel is now raised up here, nice and easy to see, gain access to. That's quite a nice improvement than being down on the floor. This section could be a shower as well, which is quite cool. So as you see, it's can be a wet area with no issues, and you still have the privacy of the door. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough both Spencer and I have done on the Axopar 37. I'd love to get your feedback to see who's done a better job. I think I might lose on this one, but until next time guys, stay safe, stay well. Look forward to seeing you then.